right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning from Nashville. Good morning from Nashville, Tennessee. We are here in the aftermath of the 2022 midterms, and there was some good. There definitely was some bad. There definitely was some ugly, and there are a couple of things that I want to talk about in terms of how we can avoid nights like last night in the future. The big red wave, the 35 seats that I thought we were going to pick up, the Senate seats that I thought we were going to flip, obviously did not happen. It obviously did not happen. And I'm going to get to theories as to why. New York and the flippening, everything that we thought we were going to see from New York from a flip standpoint, obviously did not happen. And I'm not one for moral victories. Close but no cigar. But New York did not flip. We know that. It came very close, 7 points. There hasn't been a race that close in quite some time. Actually, less than 7 points. And I don't want to be the guy who said, I told you so. I don't want to be a guy who doesn't act surprised or upset. Of course, I'm upset that we're not going to have a Republican governor in the state of New York, at least not for the next 4 years. And I'm not going to act as if that's a good thing. And I made a couple of posts yesterday talking about, the numbers and all of those things and what we were seeing during early voting. And as of right now, the projections that I had put forward appeared to be about 30,000 votes off of what Hochul currently stands at, and about 150 to 200,000 votes off of what Zeldin currently stands at. It bears to mention, while we had faith, while we had enthusiasm, while we had passion, what we did not have were several indicators that said that race was going to go our way. There were no polls, really, showing any sort of substantial, tangible leads in the New York gubernatorial race. And to see a 6-point margin, objectively looking at all of the data for the last 4 weeks, this race makes sense. And I know that there are a lot of people who are going to look at this and are going to immediately scream into the air that it was rigged, immediately scream into the air that the race was stolen. Unfortunately, and this may not be what you want to hear, and I'm just not always going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that 2020 was completely legit. I know there were things that happened there. We saw 2,000 mules. But this race was not rigged. This race was not rigged. And Kevin and I have been saying this for the last, year and a half, to stop with this nonsense about cheating. Not to say that it doesn't happen, but let me ask you a question right now. If you believed that your car that you were going to get in and drive to work was rigged so that it would kill you if you started it or started driving it, would you drive it? Would you drive it? If you knew your brake lines were cut, if you knew something was going to go wrong in your automobile, in your car, on your way to work, on your way to the store, would you get behind the wheel? Would you drive it? And my answer is no, I would not drive it. If I knew that I was going to die behind the wheel of my own vehicle because my vehicle was faulty, I would not drive it. So then take that thought process and apply that to how we look at elections. If our goal is to turn out as many voters as possible, then telling people that you cannot trust the vehicle of winning, you cannot trust voting, you cannot trust the system, is going to make people no longer comfortable to participate and utilize the same system. That's just one thing. That's not why we lost this race in New York. That's not why we lost this race in New York. There are 3 phases to elections now. I may not agree with them. I did vote early this year, but there are 3 phases to elections now. And I'm going to make a sports analogy that I made last night on Twitter. That if you're a football team that only relies on touchdowns, refuses to kick a field goal, and refuses to play special teams, you will lose. If you are a one-dimensional baseball team that is all or nothing, you just saw what happened to the New York Yankees, you will lose. Republicans love to vote on Election Day. I love to vote on Election Day. I didn't vote on Election Day this year. I voted early because I was going to be out of town. If there was no way to vote early, I would not have been able to leave town. But Republicans put all of their eggs in the Election Day basket to pull the wool over the eyes of the Democrats. Oh, we're going to make sure they don't know how many votes they need to cheat. Didn't help us. Didn't help us with Fetterman's race last night in Pennsylvania. Didn't help us with the New York gubernatorial race. What we need to do is embrace all 3 phases of the electoral process. If there's going to be early voting, then we need to make sure that our people early vote. That's not to say that if you voted on Election Day, you should have early voted. No. That's to say that if you voted on Election Day and you knew other people who were not voting or that they could have early voted. We need to embrace, while they're giving us the ability to do it, we need to embrace vote by mail. Because if you know there's someone who goes, "Wow, my vote doesn't matter. I'm not going to do anything about it." You know what my response to that person is tomorrow? Good. I will help you fill out an absentee ballot. I will help you fill out an absentee ballot. I will help you request an absentee ballot. I will help you do whatever you need to do to make sure that you cast a ballot in the next election that you have a chance to vote in. Period. End of story. When you see, and this is where I brought my projections into play, leading up, Democrats voted for 10 days straight at a rate of 58% to Republicans 22%. Over the 10 days leading into these midterm elections, specifically here in New York, Republicans were more than doubled up in mail-in and early voting. We were saying it on this show for the last 3 weeks that Republicans at a statewide level needed to turn out at 70% registered voters, proportionate to the amount of registered Republicans there are. Oh, let me see what I could do here. Sleeping Beauty is joining us today. Let me see if I can get this loaded real quick, folks. And let me shrink that in. Oh, yeah, this isn't happening. Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. Throw Skype up. There it is. Let me throw my backdrop up. There it is. Let me zoom that in here. All right. 1. 2. Okay, we're good. You hear me? Everybody there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good. Say hello.
Hey guys, so it was good last night. There was bad. There was stuff that we didn't expect, but wasn't exactly the red wave we thought it was going to be. But such is life.
That's right.
Such is life, and you guys, I'm going through the chat. This ballpoint pen thing needs to stop.
Yeah.
I've been using the same black pen at Babylon Village for 15 years. Everything's fine. Man, it's just... Last night sucked. I mean, look, Santos won. That was awesome. Love George. D'Esposito won. Awesome guy. But, obviously we lost a big one, and, it hurts.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with your audio because it's for some reason it is echoing here. But
No. What about you? How was your night,
whoa,
Sean?
yeah, it is coming in twice. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can fix that. Well, our night was fun. We had a good time over at Clay and Buck's election special. Oh, I know why that's happening. Let me see. Hold on. I'm getting all crazy here now. There we go. Now I'm coming through twice too. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I might just can it because I have no idea what's happening. Let me see if I can do this. The election night party was fun. Jay Cutler was there. I didn't realize that was going to be happening. But we had, I don't know why. I have no idea why it's coming in twice. That's going to kill me. Let's see here. If I could troubleshoot that because I'd never had this problem with Skype before.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're coming in twice though.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
No, it doesn't sound good. It's a bad echo right now. I'm hearing you 2 times, and it isn't good at all. Does everybody else hear that double audio? Am I still coming through twice? Everybody else is saying it's fine. I heard Kevin 2 times, so I don't know what's going on. Are you in the studio right now? Okay.
No.
Yeah, it's coming in twice. I'm hearing him come through 2 times. All right, everyone says it's not echoing, so I'm hearing an echo on Skype, unfortunately. But if it's not coming through like that, then I'm just gonna rock with it. Everybody's saying we don't hear him fine. Everything's saying the audio's fine. All right, good. So then we'll just keep going. I don't know why I'm hearing it twice. It's gonna bother me, but we'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm just gonna. I'll start my night. I'll start my portion of the show off with, fight doesn't end here. We're gonna lick our wounds. We're gonna see what we did wrong, and then we're gonna come back. And we're gonna come back stronger than ever. I mean, coming within 4% of New York State is a huge deal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at how close we came in New York State, and you look at how competitive the race actually wound up being. The race was called, and it was a 30-point race. You knew it wasn't ending there. It wasn't going to be the final result there. But after a certain period of time, you realize that there just wasn't enough votes in Suffolk County, and we were saying for quite some time that Republicans needed to turn out at a statewide level of 70%, and they didn't, and they hadn't been doing it all day. And I was just saying that, what we really need to do is we need to embrace all 3 phases of the game. If you look at a baseball team or a football team or a basketball team, if you become a one-dimensional team, you become easier to beat. Democrats know that Republicans are only going to come out and throw all their eggs in one basket and vote on one day. I like to vote on Election Day. This is the first election that I've ever participated in that I didn't vote in on Election Day, and that's only because I was out of town. But if us as a party, if we refuse to adapt and evolve and embrace all 3 phases of voting, it's just not gonna. We're not gonna be able to do it. We're not gonna.
No, yeah, for sure.
We're not going to be able to win this. These battles, these matchups. In congressional races, in statewide races.
Yeah.
Now there is good news, and the good news is that it looks like Anna Kaplan lost in New York State District 7.
Anna Kaplan absolutely is no longer a state senator.
Yeah, it looks like Anna Kaplan is gone, and
for all the people that are like, it was the city, guys, I hate to break it to you. All right, Ulster County, Westchester County, Erie County, Schenectady, Columbia County. I don't even know what the hell Columbia County even is. What is in Columbia County?
No, I don't know what Columbia County is.
I have no idea. Albany, so it wasn't just the city. We outperformed in the city.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get to where we needed to get to in the city.
Well, we didn't get to where we needed to get to, but we did better than anyone would have considered. I mean, 37% in Queens. Where's Brooklyn? Almost 30% in Brooklyn. You know, those are real numbers. The problem is, I mean, Manhattan. You know, I don't know what the, geez, 17%. What the hell?
Yeah, he didn't do very well in Manhattan, and
Yeah,
didn't do very well in a number of in the Bronx, obviously.
yeah,
Did well in Suffolk. Did well in Nassau. Better than a lot of polls expected him to do in Suffolk and Nassau. But again, when you look at this election in New York State, and to me, watching it in the lead up, I wasn't too surprised with the outcome. But we have to look at New York State and say, well, we heard it's a lost cause. It's a blue state. It's, you can't win. And I'm sorry, but if you run a 4-point or 5-point or 6-point race, you can win. Now,
yeah.
the point of the matter is, we wanted to win now. We don't want to have to sit through another 4 years of Kathy Hochul, and I totally get it. But, this wasn't just a New York problem. What you saw in Florida is what we need to do going forward, right? Florida early voted more than the Democrats. They're one of the few states in the country who ran a competitive race in early voting. And if you take a 100, 200, 300,000 vote deficit into election day, you're basically telling the Democrat Party, you're telling your opponent, oh, no. Don't worry about early. Don't worry about mail. This is when we're voting. So all they got to do is get enough people out to offset what you're bringing out.
Yeah,
And they know that you're not bringing out more than 60% of your registered voters. So like I said before, if you have a person who is disenchanted with the process, it's rigged, they're going to cheat, they're going to steal it, why should I even vote? You know what? I'll save you the time. You don't have to go to the polls on election day. I will help you request and fill out an absentee ballot because you got to put points on the board. There in no sport, in no competition, would you ever find a competitor to go, you know what, I'm comfortable leaving those points over there and not putting them on the scoreboard. And and because early voting and because absentee balloting are becoming a part of the process, whether that's right or wrong, I don't like it, but the reality, and this is what I want to tell everybody, there's reality and then there's what we want. And we can't be leftists and go, well, what I want is for men to become women. What I want is for children to hear about sex in kindergarten. What I want is for people to be, judged on the color of their skin. That's not what I want. The reality is that is where we are right now with our elections. There are mail-in ballots. Those aren't going away anytime soon. There is early voting. That's not going away anytime soon. So as long as they're there for us to use, why would we ignore it? And I'm not saying that anybody who voted yesterday.
Yeah, but what's the difference whether it's early voting or we voted in person?
The difference is, and this is what I said before, if you voted on election day, right, that doesn't mean you should have voted early. What it means is as a party, as a machine, we just don't pay attention to it.
Well, I think we need to focus more on the.
We don't send any of those absentee requests that the Democrats sent.
No. That's one thing that I will say that needs to happen more. But my bigger concern is, or my bigger idea is, if DeSantis showed us one thing, it's that if you want to win today's battles, you got to do it in the culture wars. You got to do it away from the economical. You got to do it away from the inflation's killing everyone. I mean, DeSantis has been the biggest culture warrior ever, and he won by what, 21?
He won by 19 and a half points in Florida.
Like, it seems like if you want to win now, you've got to do it in the culture. You've got to do it in the sort of conversations that are happening in the podcast realm. You've got to do it in the comments section of Breitbart News.
I also think that what happened with DeSantis was a factor of, and a result of, so many people over the last couple of years leaving their states and going to Florida. Why were some of those congressional seats that we thought were going to flip, why didn't they flip? Well, it's not just because we didn't sign absentee ballots. It's because a lot of the people that we thought were going to be in those districts just aren't there anymore.
That's another big one. A lot of people left already.
A lot of people are gone. And that's not just in New York, because on Long Island, you've seen the progress continue. George Santos won in District 3. Okay, that seat hasn't been in Republican control in a long time. Anthony D'Esposito won in District 4. That seat has not been controlled by Republicans in a long time. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that those seats flipped. District 19 flipped. Okay, Sean Patrick Maloney lost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these people, there are several races in New York that actually shaped the new House of Representatives, which is a slim, very, very slim majority for the Republicans. We're not going to retake the Senate. I mean, look at this. Look at Colorado. Lauren Boebert is probably going to lose.
That's rough.
That's big.
Let's see. What are we at here, Steve? Let me see Colorado.
Yeah, Lauren Boebert right now looks like she's probably going to lose. She's down by 1.5 points, I believe, right now.
Where is she? Yep. Yeah. What is that? It's 3,500 votes with 90% in. So, oof. Jesus.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. But the positives now, obviously, are that all Long Island Republicans did wind up holding on and winning their races. Obviously, District 1 stays red. That wasn't even close, which you kind of felt like was going to happen because of the inertia, the fact that it was Lee's seat, the fact that Suffolk County was going to come through heavy.
You know what? I'm going to say something right now, and it's probably going to end up getting me in some kind of trouble, but I really don't care. There's a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there. And by a lot of people, I mean the majority of people out there whose hands must be bleeding from hanging on to Lee Zeldin's coattails to drag him over the finish line.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of those people out there.
A lot of people.
Right.
So a lot of people out there celebrating right now. Just know that Lee Zeldin lost, so you could win.
That's right. That's exactly what just happened.
And if anybody's wondering who I'm talking about, chat. I'm sure you can figure out exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Not a very difficult.
They must have blisters on their hands from
holding on.
Hanging on so tight.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that was a big reason why you saw some of those races turn. It was nice to see District 3 go. It was nice to see District 4 go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nassau's got it together out there. They had a strong showing in the gubernatorial election too, because I think their margin was about 15 points. 15 points in favor of Lee Zeldin. I think Suffolk County was closer to 20 points.
Let me check real quick.
On NBC News is where I got all those county results.
Nassau County was 11%.
Suffolk, I think, was 15 then.
Suffolk was 15.
Yeah. So you have again, New York midterm elections, mail-in and early voting in person was 58% Democrat, 23% Republican, and 19% Independent. I firmly believe that if Republicans across the country, especially in states like New York, continue to ignore and tell voters to ignore 2/3 of the process, this is going to continue to happen. You know, and that's not to say that if you voted on election day, you should have voted early, because then it doesn't make a difference. The point is to encourage people to vote whenever and wherever possible.
I want to know what the hell happened in Westchester County.
Westchester County is a blue county. It has been for a while. It has been since Astorino was ran out of town. I mean, Westchester County is a suburb. That's where, a lot of those polls were saying he's only up 3 points in the suburbs because they consider Westchester a suburb. Right, so you had Long Island up 11 and 15 respectively in each county, and then Westchester was a 20-point race. So, I mean, you could very well see that it was only, quote-unquote, 5 points in the suburbs. Westchester is a blue county, and it's been getting eroded for years.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw happen.
That's if that goes even, that's a 40,000 vote swing.
Yeah.
That brings it to 52.3. 47.5.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking 50,000 or 40,000 votes away from Hochul, giving it to Zeldin. That's an 80,000 vote swing right there.
Yep.
What I also think happened is we didn't quite see the sheer number of Democrat crossovers that we were thinking we were going to see.
Yep.
Estimating 20% was high, although I was only about 30,000 votes off of Hochul's current vote total, but about 150,000, 160,000 votes off of Zeldin's current vote total. So a little light on the crossover.
I would be curious to see the turnout per party.
I don't know where to get that data, but I know that Republicans didn't turn out over, I would say 60%. These numbers would look a lot different if they did. And in Suffolk County, there was a lot of Republican votes in Suffolk County. There were 307,000 votes for Lee Zeldin in Suffolk County, and I believe there's only 296,000 registered Republicans in Suffolk County as of November 1st, 2022. I'm going to pull this information up right now because I have it here in my drive. So Suffolk County, let me see, outside of New York City, Suffolk County registered Republicans, 323,176 registered Republicans, 307,000 votes for Lee Zeldin. Now, that doesn't mean that it was a straight, all those people were Republicans. There's obviously conservatives, there's independents as well. What it would tell you is we probably didn't pull 70% out of Suffolk County. We came close, but we needed to do that statewide if we wanted to win. But Suffolk looks like it turned out pretty heavily in favor of Lee Zeldin. It's just, again, you couldn't offset the votes in the city. And as much as we like to mock Kathy Hochul and mock Kamala Harris and mock Hillary Clinton and mock Joe Biden, they went to a place where they are still liked, into New York City, and those people came out and voted. I mean, they campaigned where the people were, and they campaigned where their votes were. And you saw what happened in Manhattan. And it's not only the city. We could have won this race again if there were if there was a better effort to turn out voters statewide, and it just didn't exist. And I think party leadership needs to look at that. And then I think nationally, Ronna McDaniel and all of these folks in the RNC need to look at how the hell this went wrong across the country.
I'm sorry, but I hate to say it, but I think the top leadership of the RNC needs to resign.
I think so.
And look, I want to be clear about a couple of things, all right? Candidate quality, okay? We had great candidate quality here in New York.
Yes.
Nationally, out of every person in Georgia, you come up with Herschel Walker.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you came up with was Herschel Walker in Georgia.
Out of all the people in Pennsylvania, you come up with a guy that lives in Jersey?
Dr. Oz. Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here?
You know? And it's funny because even we talk about Dr. Oz, is he a good candidate? Is he the right guy? It shouldn't have mattered who he was. Who was he running against?
Yeah.
He was running against a guy who can't complete sentences. I mean, just... hello. And we come up with Dr. Oz. Now, that's not saying Kathy Barnett would have won the race, but that's who you came up with.
That's who you came up with?
It was Mehmet Oz. And in Georgia, it was Herschel Walker. And it's just, I don't know. Candidate quality wasn't good for us. It wasn't great for them either. It was nice to see a guy like George Santos, a very strong candidate, beat a...
Oh, yeah. No. Our congressional, Anthony and George were great.
Yeah.
That Nassau seems to know what they're doing. I would have expected a bigger turnout or a higher swing from Nassau, vote-wise, but, they certainly came out higher than what we saw for
Yes,
Blake.
they did.
The margins, so.
Yes, they came out in greater numbers for Lee Zeldin than they did for Bruce Blakeman. Now looking at Arizona, still 68% of the vote in. Carrie Lake is right there. She's down by 30,000 votes right now with only 68% of the vote in. So that race is very tight. What happened in Maricopa County yesterday got the whole it's rigged train going. And look, it was ridiculous. How do your machines break on election day? It's election day. You have one day for these machines to be good, and they break. And then you have Katie Hobbs, who is the Secretary of State overseeing her own election for governor, and the machines break on Election Day, which is the day that Republicans like to come out and vote in force, which is another reason why let's not put all of our eggs in one basket, right? Maybe we should, again, diversify where our vote comes from, expand our party in that sense. If there are people, again, if someone goes, I'm never voting again, okay, fine. You don't have to leave your house, but I will help you get a mail-in ballot. You don't have to leave your house. Just fill this in and send it back. Because that's a lost vote. That's a point coming off the board. But Arizona looks like it's still possible for Kari Lake to win. Blake Masters has a little bit more of an uphill climb. In Michigan, Tudor Dixon did not win, which is unfortunate. Looks like Tudor Dixon down 9 points there in Michigan. That race wasn't really close throughout the entire night. But from a congressional standpoint, John James looks like he's finally headed to Congress, which is good. I'm excited for that. Pennsylvania obviously didn't go well. Maryland lost the governorship. New Hampshire wasn't even close. North Carolina looks like Ted Budd eked that one out. J.D. Vance won that race going away, though. I know you're happy about that.
Yes, obviously I've been on the J.D. Vance train for a while. Big fan of his. I'm happy he's going to be in the Senate.
Georgia right now, Stacey Abrams probably still doesn't think she lost again, but she did. So she's out. That was a 7 or 8 point race nearly. Herschel Walker losing by about 0.5 of a point, but neither candidate appears to be getting 50%, which means that is going to a runoff on December 6th in Georgia. Those races heavily favor Democrats, so we'll see what happens there. But that would only bring the Senate back to even as far as I know.
Yeah. I don't see us having any flips.
No, I mean, Nevada would be a flip, and I think Laxalt is up in Nevada right now.
Oh, yes, he is. Laxalt at the moment with 80% in is at 49.9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Laxalt wins, then we're okay.
If Laxalt wins, then we could be all right.
But then we also have to sit around and for the next how long? Oh well, hold on. Murkowski may lose.
Lisa Murkowski, where is that in Alaska?
Alaska, she may lose to another
Kelly
Republican.
Chewbacca.
Yeah. So if that happens, then Susan Collins becomes the most powerful person in America.
Oh, that's great. That's just fantastic. But we'll see what happens in Nevada. Nevada hasn't been called yet. That's only a 20,000, 23,000 vote difference there. 80% of the...
oh, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. Fetterman won, so Laxalt has to win to keep it even.
Laxalt has to win to keep it even because John Fetterman somehow found a way. I think Tim Runs His Mouth put it up yesterday. He said John Fetterman has broken the glass ceiling for vegetables, which is just ridiculous. The fact that he won, Mehmet Oz couldn't beat this guy. A brain surgeon couldn't beat a guy who needs an operation done on his brain. It's very disappointing. Joe Pinion came within 13 points. It's the closest race that Chuck Schumer has run in years, despite the fact that Joe Pinion was all but abandoned by Republican leadership, had struggled mightily with name recognition. That was disappointing to see that. He only ran 4 points behind Lee Zeldin. Believe it or not, Chuck Schumer getting 56% of the vote, Letitia James getting 55% of the vote, and the governor candidate at the top of the ticket only not even getting to 53%. So it shows you how weak she was.
I mean, they all squeaked by, and obviously I'm not a fan of participation trophies. We lost. Doesn't matter if you lose by an inch or a mile. However, ground is being made up.
Ground is being made up. Michael Henry loses by close to 11 points. That was a closer race than we've seen in years. Attorney General. And also the comptroller race did not go our way either. And unfortunately, it looks like Stefano Forte did not get what he needed to win out there to become the youngest state senator in the history of New York. But he's got a bright future. He'll be back. He's not going anywhere. New Mexico, which is one of those governor races that I was watching. Did not go our way. Ronchetti trailing by about 8 points, so that didn't go well. The one race that I was excited to watch was Florida. It got called so early, and DeSantis won by nearly 20. And I think that's true. I think it's the culture war. This is where you've got to invest your time. He won by 19.4 percentage points. 19.4 percentage points. Now, I know there was a lot of population gain in Florida. A lot of people flocked to Florida over the last couple of years. But I don't think 19 percentage points are, he won by 30,000 votes last time. I don't think 19 percentage points flocked to Florida. I think maybe 5 or 6 went there and kind of expanded the Republican advantage. But I think it's Ron DeSantis jumping in, getting right involved in education. He made his speech last night saying Florida is where woke goes to die, and there need to be more Republicans that are not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
There need to be more people that come out and are logical about this and say that's where the battle is. That's where the most energy is right now. It's in the schools. It's in the anti-woke movement, and it's in the
culture war.
It's in the culture war.
And that's it. Look, if we've seen anything, you have to be in the culture war. Don't shy away from it, and it's this is tough.
It is.
There's definitely going to have to be some sort of an autopsy.
Yes.
For what happened, right? But for what just happened, both on a state level and on a national level.
I agree. And the silver lining that we can take here as New Yorkers, while our gubernatorial candidate may have lost, New York is really the reason right now. If you look at the races that were won here all throughout Long Island and upstate, the reason why Republicans are going to control that House. Malliotakis won, Santos won, D'Esposito won, District 2 and District 1. We don't say their names. And then Molinaro, Stefanik is back. Sean Patrick Maloney goes down. It was just weird watching though last night.
I mean, look. Brandon Williams may win in 22. Molinaro's probably going to pull it out. Let's see.
I think
Who else
Molinaro
is there?
already declared victory up there.
Let's see. Oh, and I do want to give a big shout out to our. You know what? Let's see. Let's have some fun here. You want to have some fun, Sean? Let's have some fun. Where the hell would House District 13 be?
House District 13.
Right in the heart of Manhattan.
No, and unopposed.
Yes, I want to thank the Manhattan GOP for, out of the entire borough of Manhattan, not being able to find one fucking Republican to maybe shave off some votes. Well, not one.
Nope, not one.
Couldn't put a name in.
Not one. So there was a write-in down there.
I don't understand these people that do this. But look, Mike Lawler back to the good stuff. Mike Lawler may win in 17. He's up by 3,000 votes with 98% in. Mike Lawler, he may win. Stefanik. Chairman Langworthy, he won in 23. So, and then I think I said
Claudia Tenney won going away.
Claudia Tenney went running away. I love her district. It is so beautifully drawn.
Claudia Tenney won. Lawler, as you said, looks like he's going to squeak one out against Maloney. Nicole Malliotakis won by about 20 points in Staten Island. Anthony D'Esposito, as it stands right now, is up 10,000 votes with 93% reporting. George Santos is up 22,000 votes with 89% reporting. So the Long Island Republican contingent, the Long Island Republican delegation, congressional delegation, looks good. I'm excited for D'Esposito to get going. To get in there and shake things up. I think he's got a great passion about him to do the right thing, especially being former NYPD. So it's nice to see that. And Santos, man, he's been trying. He should have been in 2020.
If anybody deserves it,
should have been in 2020. What went on there, and then now just He got he was the reason why redistricting happened so late again, right? That lawsuit, because they tried to give him a district that was ridiculous, and he said, "I don't think so," and his map was drawn very favorably this go around, and he didn't beat a slouch. This Zimmerman.
No, Zimmerman certainly got a lot of money, a lot of name rack. He was endorsed by Hillary Clinton, so he's not just some
No,
some
he's a
throwaway.
polished guy. He gave it a good run. He definitely spent a lot of money, and it looks like
Ooh, and apparently Colin Schmidt in 18 is only down 700 votes.
District 18. Yeah, for what is this man Ryan here? Um,
Pat Ryan, the Democrat, and
yeah, he's only down 700. So Colin Schmidt is not conceding yet. And I'm not sure we heard a Zeldin concession speech yet. I know he didn't want to do it too early last night while Suffolk County was still getting everything under control. I know apparently their Wi-Fi was down at the Board of Elections. I mean,
well, because of the breach, they had to hang
that's
down
right.
everything.
Well, I heard they were taking memory cards, from the machines and bringing them out to Yap Hank and then uploading them one by one. So,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how you get hacked as an entire county for 3 months almost at this point. But
yeah, and not fix it.
I don't know what's going on there, but
Well, but that's what happens, and that's not even believe me, I'll take every opportunity to take a giant dump on the Suffolk County Republican Party, but sorry, something just popped up. I'll take every opportunity to dump on them, but this is just a county thing. It's not a Republican Party thing. It's but that's what happens when you have jobs that should go to qualified people that go to political appointees.
that's very true. And when I don't know who it was, but I heard that the hack was brought about by somebody who was, what was it? They were on a county device on a public Wi-Fi, and someone just snatched up their.
That is the going story. I cannot. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, oof. That's one heck of a way to cost yourself not just a job, but I mean, I had a court thing.
I doubt that person will even be fired.
Definitely.
It's probably somebody's niece.
It's unfortunate. I saw there was a way to get the News 12. Let me see. News 12 had the all the. How did what happened to the Brooks seat over there in Massapequa?
Rhodes won.
Steve Rhodes. Congratulations to Steve Rhodes, another state senator. I know that makes you happy, right?
Oh, I'm loving it. I want that seat. I wanted it for a while. Just typing in News 12, just seeing her face on the home screen annoys me.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not fun to see that. But again, just to kind of reinforce it and bring it all home, folks. If you're watching on Rumble, we've got 300 or so watching over there now. Do us a favor and hit that Rumble button over there. Let everyone share this everywhere. Our takeaways and everything like that. I don't want to hear about cheating. I don't want to hear about rigging. I don't want to hear about stolen elections. This was when.
And by that I mean, message us and say it was stolen.
Yeah, please let's not.
Because now we are at a point now where you're starting to sound ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not everything in the world, not every election your person loses is stolen.
No, and the other thing is, as I had mentioned earlier, like, you're not going to expand your party by undermining faith in the process. And I'm not telling everybody to have blind faith in the process, but it's the only process that we have. So to tell people that the vote isn't counting, or your vote's not going to, it doesn't mean anything, or they're just going to steal it with the mail-in ballots, you're not going to convince new people to come out and vote that way, especially kids, especially young people. Young people are not going to come out and go, oh, yeah, I'm so excited to vote in the election because it doesn't count. It's just not. That's a silly thing to do. I'm not going to buy into that. I'm not going to. I'm not doing it.
Like, guys, I'm sure some of you have sent us messages and they've been read with no response. about stealing or hacking or my machine went down or yeah, that was me reading it and not answering.
I mean, I want to clean up the whole voting machine thing. Should we go back to paper ballots? Should we get machines that work better? Should what happened in Maricopa County have happened yesterday? Absolutely not. Okay? But if it's the only process that we have, we need to encourage as many people as humanly possible to participate in that process. We've been saying it for the last 18 months. Overwhelm the system. Overwhelm the voter fraud. If you think it's going to be stolen, get as many people out to the polls to beat that number by one. Because if we had turned out last night at 70% of registered voters to the Republican Party, we would be talking about a new governor this morning instead of talking about having to worry about, this one here, Governor Machine Gun Kathy, and having to kind of find the silver linings in a night that should have been a lot better, that wound up being, falling short of expectations. It's a good thing we're going to wind up keeping the House or taking the House. Unfortunately, the Senate is still going to be the Senate. We're going to have congressional gridlock for the next 2 years. And then 2024, I mean, look, there are people who are going to say it. It's running through my mind. Last night might have been the first big indictment of Donald Trump that we've seen in the electoral process. The guy can endorse candidates in a primary, but it didn't work last night. And I think, again, and I say this about, I said this about Carrie Lake in her primary when she was running. I said this about a lot of folks that we deal with here that have these opinions. Stolen elections do not grant you, talking about stolen elections will not win you future elections. It'll only make that job harder. So, yes, we know something happened in 2020. Yes, we watched 2,000 Mules. I understand the machines are an issue. I understand there are things in this process that we want to clean up. But we have to stack the deck and put the people in place that can actually clean this up, right? To get it cleaned up. And we're never going to be able to do that if we keep fighting an uphill battle with ourselves, discouraging other people from voting. So please stop.
Please stop.
That's all it is.
Even like look at this, okay? So let's just Sean, you want to get pissed off for a little while?
Sure.
All right, since we were talking about that House race that doesn't have a Republican challenger in it.
Right.
I'm just looking at the state Senate here. Just at the state Senate. Let's see. District 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 27, 29, 30, 33, 36. No Republican challenger.
Those are state Senate races?
Yep.
So those are races where you had districts where you probably weren't going to win anyway, but you had nobody representing the Republican Party bringing out votes.
Nobody representing the Republican Party.
And how many districts was that you just counted?
Ooh, let's see. So I stopped at 36. So that's, let's see, 31. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12 districts, so you figure
13
districts. And how many votes do you think each candidate could have gotten in each district?
The blank. This is really funny. So just as a, I don't have the map up at the moment, but in Senate District 10,
right,
which I'm assuming is some sort of area of Queens, the blank candidate got 16,000 votes. Blank got 16,000 votes.
That's not Forte?
No, he's 11.
He's 11. So 16,000 votes for a blank, no candidate.
For blank. In 12, blank received 14,000 votes.
Okay, so now how many districts did you say went? How many districts did you say?
11.
There was 11.
Yeah, let me go all the way to the end. I'll double check. Yeah, 11.
All right, so let's figure
12.
12.
12. Let me just give you 2 seconds. So far, we got 12 districts with no Republican challenger. Way to be, everybody. Yep, 12.
12 districts, no Republican challenger. Where were those districts located? Those are all in the 5 boroughs?
Yep.
Okay.
12 out of 63.
12 out of 63. So 12
So
out
the
of
Democrats
63.
started off the Democrats started off with 12
Yep.
wins. And look, let's be clear. Andrea Stewart Cousins up in the
Not
Bronx,
losing.
she was going to win, not losing.
But
You
it
know,
doesn't matter
this,
because if a blank can pull 16,000 votes and you have 12 seats, now not every one of them is going to get 16,000. If they get 10,000 votes, that's 120,000 votes right there, Republican, that Lee Zeldin currently just doesn't have.
exactly. And
biggest
look, I
problem.
mean, Tina Forte pulled 45,000 votes in the Bronx.
Yep. I mean, that's why it's important to put people up in every race, because if you do that and you're just slowly pulling votes away, now you're talking about, again, that's 100,000 votes right there, 120,000 votes that makes this race much closer. And those are votes that aren't coming from friendly areas. Those are votes that are coming from the city, and it's just, it blows my mind that you would run an unopposed race, even if you got a guy without any money, an Edward Durr type of situation down in Jersey. Put somebody up. Put somebody up and let them run their campaign and let them go knock on doors and let them go bring votes out. That's all you got to do.
I mean, look, there's got to be some overzealous person inside of that district.
There's
that you can just put up there. And the fact of the matter is, this is what drives me so insane, is that we have 63 Senate seats and we gave up 12 of them already without even lifting a finger.
It's 19%. The Democrats won those seats without anybody even saying, I'll give you a run for your money. I'll make you spend. I'll make you divert resources. That's it. And you wonder why this is what's happening in the state.
But as far as the Long Island Senate races go, Anthony Palumbo held on to his seat. Mario Matera held on to his, as well as Dean Murray. Wendy Rodriguez, unfortunately, she ran a great race within 5 points of Monica Martinez, who's been around for 1,000 years. Brooks lost to Rhodes, thank God. Jimmy Cole lost, unfortunately. Here it is, number 7, Jack Martins, baby. Jack Martins beat Anna Kaplan. Good. I'm happy I never have to see or hear from her ever again.
Yes.
Alexis White, who apparently doesn't feel cold.
Yes.
She won walking away, and that's Long Island in the Senate, in the state Senate. In the Assembly, let's see. In the Assembly, I'm not even gonna read District 1. Jody Giglio won. Joe DiStefano won. Let's see. Where is
I saw District 1, by the way.
Yeah. Ed Flood, wow, in 4, came within a point and a half of Steve Engelbright, who's like a 10-term assemblyman up by Stony Brook in the Stony Brook University area. That's pretty impressive. We know a guy that ran there. Kevin Surdy gave it all he had down in 6. Doug Smith won his race. Love Doug. Awesome. Jared Gandolfo won. Mike Fitzpatrick. Mike Durso. Amir Sultan gave it a hell of a run.
Gave it a close.
I'll tell you that.
He came very close, Amir.
Yeah, he gave it a hell of a run. Chris Sperber gave it a hell of a run. Let's see where are we at here. Votes by candidate. Yeah, he came within 1% of Kimberly Jean-Pierre.
Very close.
That's our assembly person.
Yes, very close. And Chris is a cool guy. He was somebody I was really wanted to see him get in there. But
yeah, Keith Brown was able to keep his seat. Good. So we I think Jake Blumenkrantz, he won. That's up in Georgia's district area ish. So we did all right on the state senate and the assembly level.
Yeah.
Oh, Kara pulled in 36% in a tough district over there.
Yeah, over there in Elmont, right?
Yeah, Elmont, a little bit of Queens, Franklin Square area, pretty much like Hempstead Turnpike and Franklin's in Elmont over there. That's a tough district, but
yeah. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. 8:56. Head over to loudmajorityus.com. Check out the newsletter. Sign up there. Check out our shop. We'll be on LFA TV in about an hour with one more go around for national election coverage. We'll talk about the midterms on a national level as you get all your New York news here. We'll break it down. We'll see what we could have done better, what we did well, and what we can look forward to for 2024. Obviously, there's an announcement coming on November 15th. We will see how well received that announcement is after yesterday. I think there are going to now be questions about Donald Trump's ability to lead the Republican Party to a new front. He did it once. Can he do it again? Can he evolve? Can he evolve? Can he get over the past failed messaging regarding 2020 that is starting to wear people out? Is it possible to see that evolution? I think he's smart. I don't know if he's going to move on. We're going to see how that goes. He was celebrating 174-9 in endorsements last night, but those 9 losses were very, very important. So, like I said, I'm not going to. I know I could sound like the guy and all that. I'm not going to. I don't worship the golden calf here, right? There were definitely a lot of mistakes made in the process, and we will see what he decides to do moving forward and what happens on the 15th. We'll see you in about an hour on LFA TV. All right, and on that note, check out rumble.com/loudmajorityus and rumble.com/LFATV. We will be there in about an hour, so check us out there. And I'll be back on Long Island later tonight, and we'll be back same time, same place on Friday morning. Thanks, guys. Remember to stop complying with any unlawful mandates of madness, even though it looks like we're getting 4 more years of them. It'll be for fun protests anyway. And
oh yeah, the protesting hasn't even begun.
That's
yet.
right. So stop complying right now, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, stay loud.